Hi, my name is Deacon Mike Oles. I'm a permanent deacon in the Diocese of Harrisburg, and I'm here to talk to you about a program that's called Off the Streets. Our mission is to help people who are homeless, who have a way to pay a rent going forward, help them into an apartment that they can call their own. Off the Streets was formed in 2009 as a 501c3. We take no government funding, we have no paid staff, no offices, very little overhead. 7 chapters of Off the Streets have been formed in Connecticut, California, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and the state of Washington. 6 of those chapters were started by deacons. Chapters can easily form in every state. We've helped more than 5,500 persons or families off the streets so far. We're just one piece of the puzzle, working in cooperation with all other homeless services organizations. The role of deacons as leaders in the church goes back to the foundation of the church. Deacons have always been called to service in the community. Deacons have been establishing chapters of Off the Streets around the country, and there's no more natural and fertile ground for deacons to lead the laity in profound and lasting acts of mercy while opening the door to evangelizing in the peripheries. So our 7th chapter of Off the Streets was just formed in Toledo, Ohio, a couple of months ago. And the deacon, Deacon Ed Ireland, who formed that chapter, had an extraordinary tale to tell me about the first family they took off the streets. So Ed, as he described it to me, was telling me that this family had been living in a house that they'd been renting. The house was condemned by the city because it hadn't been kept up to code. So the family of 8 was kicked out. They had no place to go and no way to pay for anything like a security deposit, because they didn't get the security deposit back from the house. So they ended up moving into a motel. All 8 of them crammed into one room of a motel. When the city found out about Off the Streets that Ed had just founded, they contacted him and said, can you do anything? So of course Ed said, we'll try. And so they found a place for them to live. And they got all the furniture that they needed and the security deposit and moved them right in. Now, what's extraordinary is that what Ed did the next step was a very simple gesture of saying, would you like to say a prayer together? So he did, and they wanted to, and so they did. And then he said, there's a Catholic church nearby if you'd like to consider going. And so one of the family members said, oh, we'd like to learn a little bit more about the Catholic Church. And he said, well, there's a program called RCIA. Well, all 8 members of that family signed up for RCIA just by that simple gesture from Deacon Ed Ireland in the Diocese of Toledo. This can happen with you too. Off the Streets has received many testimonials, most recently from the Most Reverend Ronald Gaynor, who's the Bishop of Harrisburg, who wrote, there is no more effective way for the family of faith to communicate the liberating message of Jesus Christ than to actively love, show compassion for, and support the human family. The prophetic witness of Off the Streets is essential to the marginalized of the Lancaster area and beyond. To those who feel the weight of hopelessness, you are unveiling a world where the promise of a safe place to live can be realized and hope restored. Thank you for spreading faith, hope, and love through the Off the Streets ministry. And we've received many other types of recognition from the state of Connecticut, the Knights of Columbus, many homeless services providers, and other locations. Listen, guided by the Holy Spirit, you can do this. We'll help you every step of the way with an easy-to-implement program. Just contact me, Deacon Mike Oles, at the number shown on your screen, and I'll be glad to send you a copy of the book, the Off the Streets book, or meet with you either personally or on Zoom, or whatever way we can do this to help the homeless off the streets one person at a time. Let's get going. Thank you. Thank you.